Something something really interesting happened right when I was about to hit record. I felt like spirit, whatever that is like right here with me. Like, all right, let's do this shit. Let's go create. Which is interesting because I jumped on here because I just checked my email and got a notification from my bank that I have less than $100. So, uh, felt like it would be fun, fun to jump on here and just share what's alive in response to that. Because it's multifaceted. It's like I don't even know what to think. It brings up laughter because it's like, fuck, this surrender experiment, whatever this is ramping up. Is like there's an excitement in, okay, now we're really gonna see what happens if I truly let go. I already have been, but I've had the safety of knowing there's money in my bank account this whole time, and I've been watching it drop and watching it dwindle and having no income and not knowing where it's going to come from and not feeling drawn to. It's like any impulse I have to move toward money, I get stopped before I move. Something in me is like can sense the fear and the tension and the that is just rooted in lack and separation. That's my words interpretation to try to describe the experience. Um, but it's just this clarity of no. And in the moments when I've sort of tested that and felt like, oh, there's a little bit of a maybe here, let me move towards something, it doesn't work out, it dissolves. And there are a couple of potentials for money coming in. A friend selling my car for me, and a book that's about to be released on Amazon. But both of those things, the timing feels so unpredictable and out of my control. That's my sense of it. That's my experience. That this isn't a time in my life of control. It's a time of surrender. It doesn't mean I don't take action. I do when it's inspired. And I think more and more I'm aware of when I have a yes and when I have a no, and I'm just basically uncompromising in that. And there's something that feels incredibly self-loving and empowering about that. Like, it doesn't matter the consequences. I am not going to betray myself. No matter what, I'm going to be with whatever arises in response. I'm going to be the loving parent. I'm going to fall apart knowing that I'm infinitely held. And I know that there's potentials for me to have nowhere to stay, to have nothing to eat. And I guess I'm just at a place where if that happens, it happens. I even feel that about death. Like, if death wants to happen, cool. I'm not even attached to living. It's not that I want to die. It's that I trust it if I do. It's a deep trust that anything that happens is what I want. And I feel that that's what the gifts of these experiences of running out of money, having no home, it's like inviting me into a death process that's really a process of an invitation to deeper trust and surrender, so that I am simply flowing with life. Comfort isn't enough anymore. To some degree, comfort feels uncomfortable because I start to attach to the form of comfort. Oh, I want more of this. And then it sets me up, my senses, it sets me up for suffering because I want to keep this comfort. I want to keep the comfort of having money in my bank account. That sets me up for suffering every time it looks like that's not going to be the reality. And there's nothing wrong with the desire for comfort, for wanting money. I don't shame any of that. It's more of a recognition of what unfolds for me when I feel like I need it to be okay. Any message of I need this to be okay is a message of I'm not okay already. And maybe I could say, maybe I don't need it to be okay, but I want it to enjoy life. And I even feel tension in that because it assumes that that I know something, that I know what's going to bring me the most joy in life. And my sense is it's not often what my mind thinks. My mind thinks it's going to be money, it's going to be the relationship, it's going to be the freedom to buy anything I want and travel anywhere I want and visit anyone I want, and that having money will mean more people will want to be in connection with me. I'll be more of a desirable partner for a romantic relationship. It's all these ideas and that just don't feel like the deeper experience that I'm wanting. Which, if I try to put it into words, it has something to do with fear not dominating my experience anymore. And I wonder if the only way that's really going to happen is to face every fear. Whether or not that fear manifests, it's facing the potential. Maybe that's enough sometimes, I don't know. Like, I ended up homeless on the beach, and so far only one night, because after that people reached out, things showed up. I'm in a beautiful place right now. I don't know for how long. And something in me actually likes that I don't know for how long, because then I start to get a false sense of security that it feels like maybe draws me away from true security, which is knowing that I'm always safe and secure. No matter what is happening, no matter what my interpretation is, I believe that. I don't know why. I just feel it. Trust found me and is taking me on an adventure that feels unpredictable and out of control. And sometimes that's incredibly terrifying. And sometimes it's exhilarating. And I think the latter happens when I remember. So there's some sense of memory of like, I want this. Maybe I'm tapping into the feeling I had when I chose this experience, like the immeasurable gifts I knew were buried here, and the gratitude I felt to just get to experience this. Yeah, it's bringing up so much. It's bringing up so many, like, it's really hard to be dependent on other people. This is the first time I haven't had a car in my adult life, and just like asking people for rides, super uncomfortable. I'd rather walk for hours than ask for a ride, I'm noticing sometimes. And I've already been doing this, living this way to some degree. It's like humbling me to have to say I don't know how I'm gonna support myself. I'm on this unknown adventure that's taking me wherever it's taking me. And there's been a lot of victimization coming up in me around people don't understand. They don't understand that this is just happening. They don't they don't have my experience to as a reference point to why I would be doing what I'm doing. So because it feels like with what I now know, if I was in a position to help somebody in my position, I would be so inviting and welcoming. And I feel so generous with whatever I do have. There's this instinct in me to share and really consider impact on people. And I think that's another gift of this experience is I'm realizing what it's like to be here and how hard it is for people that are in dependent positions in life, or the illusion of dependence, we could call it. I'm wondering if I'm using a lot of words to bypass feelings that are present. Because it's scary. And I've been on Maui almost 3 weeks now, and a lot of it has been survival fears dominating my experience. And there's been a lot of crying, there's been a lot of just activated nervous system that it's been hard to relax and enjoy myself. And it feels like every time I start to relax a little bit, something else pops in, like, oh, great, I'm basically out of money. Now what? What if I lose my phone? What if I have become dependent on this device? It's just so funny too, because the phones are so new, and I feel like I don't even know how to exist without it. So yeah, I'm not gonna go rush out and do something about this. I'm not gonna go find a way to make money. I'm not gonna get a job. I'm gonna do what I always do. I'm gonna sit with my emotion, because in the end I feel like it's all just here to be felt. And I often have experiences where I sit and I feel and I cry and I express, and whatever happens, and then maybe I'll express with a video like this or a piece of writing or something, conversation with a friend, and then it moves. Something shifts and something shows up. Not always right away, but it feels fairly consistent. And sometimes the thing showing up is an impulse to take action in some way. So I think surrender is sometimes thought of as like a lack of action, but for me it's inspired action with a lot of resting in stillness, I guess, in between, and allowing that unraveling process, that healing process to unfold. Yeah, it's trusting that something will show up or something will be inspired in me that'll lead to something beautiful, and that everything I experience as not wanted, um, trying to find the words to describe it. It's part of the surrender of the character that thinks it knows what it wants and thinks it knows um, what I need, and values comfort over all else and doesn't always recognize the value in the discomfort. It's as if there's a conditioned fear-based me that's dying slowly. It seems to be a gradual process for me. And that being faced with these fears in a more real way is like, it's really inviting that death, that integration, to where my spirit self, or the me that's aware of me beyond me, that's aware of the interconnection of all life, and that's my true desire, is to live in awareness of my interconnection with all of life, so that I'm not moving from what this individual thinks it needs, but from what the group desires, the group organism that we all are a part of. That's harmony. That's peace. That's joy. And I'm so, I don't even make decisions anymore. They make me. It's as if I'm being informed by the entity that we all are, of what my note is in the symphony of life. And it's ever changing. It's just a moment. Here it is in this moment. Here it is in this moment. And it seems that part of this game is having moments where there's no clarity, where there's some sort of unraveling happening, I imagine, that exists between me and that clarity, that has to do with fear and a separation of perspective, that I am a separate individual, a separate drop of water, not realizing I'm the entire ocean. And the ocean's going to move me. I'm there, I'm in it, I'm a part of it. Maybe at some point the little drop of me will wash onto the shore, and I'll panic and I'll think I'm dying and I'll evaporate into gas. And eventually I just become part of the water cycle and end up in the ocean again. And I never really was separate from it, because it's just different forms, thinking that the air and the water in the air and the water in the ocean and the water in the clouds are different things. So I welcome this as an opportunity to remember. And I imagine these experiences serving the collective me, you, us, in what I'm able to share from this place, who I become and what I embody in response to this. It's a lot. I'll be on here sharing when I am. I so appreciate everyone that joins me here and celebrates this dance with me. Thank you.